Welcome back to Pretty Swell Adventures. In this video we show a bit of the second half of our week-long trip, and I cover a variety of other things we've learned as owners. As we start this video, we're cruising from Fisher's Island to Newport, Rhode Island. It was the flattest water we've yet cruised and a gorgeous run. The marina we booked for our Newport stay was one we'd seen during the winter, when all of Newport was empty and it looked like a great place to be. On arrival this time of year, we found ourselves surrounded by much bigger boats. So I got out the drone to send it up to get a good look at all of them. Many of you have likely seen boats this big before, as have we, but mostly from a distance. They all seem so much bigger when you're down in the marina with them. Here's a good look around. Another thing I don't think I've talked about is that I installed Starlink in the boat, and I thought I'd tell you my solution for mounting it. With a flybridge model like ours, there isn't a place that's flat and horizontal enough to mount the antenna directly on the roof. Fortunately, I had ordered the TV antenna option from the factory. This provided an antenna on the top of a post at the rear of the boat to pick up traditional broadcast stations. I'm not sure why I ordered it, since we watch everything over the top using smart TVs, so I didn't really need the factory antenna. But I could remove that antenna from its mounting post and replace it with a bracket to hold the Starlink antenna. I got the bracket from a company called Trio, which I'll link in the description below. Trio also has a router that snaps directly into the bracket, replacing the Starlink provided router that was so big there wasn't even space to mount it in the boat. Trio also provides a transformer and a wiring harness to provide power to both the antenna and the router. So I had my marina pull that wiring from this antenna mounting post to the lower equipment closet, where we mounted the transformer and then connected the transformer to the boat's 12-volt power supply. All in all, it works like a charm and gives us super fast internet on the boat for our smart TVs, phones, and tablets everywhere that we're at. I don't have my nice little microphone on, but I'll show you something nice here. As you'll recall from the marketing videos, there's a nice little gate here on the side of the boat going out the starboard. And when you're at a fixed pier like we are here in Stonington, the boat, of course, will rise and fall with the tide. Oftentimes they'll have ladders in the pier. It's nice if you can line up the ladder with the gate. It makes it much easier to get on and off the boat rather than trying to crawl over the railing or some part of the side of the boat or something like that. The little gate and the railing is a nice way to enter and exit. So this isn't a criticism as much as it is just something to be aware of if you're an Antares 11 owner. As you recall, the Antares 11 has a cabin that's offset to the port, so you get a larger walk on the starboard than you do on the port. So that means you usually get a starboard side tie-up. Note also, though, that the freshwater feed from the dock is here on the starboard side, which it probably should be. It just means they have to watch out for it as a potential tripping hazard. We have had one trip already. Not a big deal. Fortunately, somebody had the hand of the person who was getting on, but nevertheless, just something to be watching out for. One more thought about this wonderful cockpit area in the back here. Although it's really nice and it gives you lots of space, it is a boat that has an outdoor cockpit. And so, in contrast to being inside all the time, where a bigger boat might just have everything behind sliding doors, you're taking off and putting on these covers a lot. That's not a problem. It's just something that's like, oh man, makes you wonder, should I had something and close the back? But no, all the other trade-offs here on this boat are so awesome, so not a problem. And after a couple of days at Newport, we cruised over to Cuttyhunk to finish out our first week-long trip. So when you come to Cuttyhunk, one of the things that you do is you go here. There's a little wonderful lobster shack. What you get is these hot lobster rolls. They literally boil a lobster, skillet up a little roll and stick them on there, and man, it's the thing.
So go
So
ahead.
here we are, we're kind of at the end of a week. Any more thoughts about the boat? Because that's what people are watching the channel for.
Well, one thing that you wanted to mention was what we did for the refrigerator and the freezer. And for us, we chose the refrigerator, the regular refrigerator, and then we chose the big freezer and then a small refrigerator up
On
on
the
the
fly, yeah.
and it was the right choice for us. The freezer is perfect for putting frozen fruit food in there, for extra ice cubes and stuff. And then the small fridge was pretty good.
We've been able to get everything in that we need, from leftovers to wine to some veggies to all the stuff we need, to chai teas for me, boxes to milk to, seems like everything we've needed this week, we've been able to get into that small refrigerator.
However, we've eaten out most meals.
Well, that is true. So we have not yet done a thing where we're cooking on the boat. That's for a future video.
Exactly.
Do that yet. But we got the propane stove option. In retrospect, having some second thoughts about that. We'll see how it goes.
And we're ordering a pan to fit the burner.
Yeah, we're going to rondo pan to fit without a big handle sticking out.
Exactly.
Anyway, so a couple things from me. The first, I wanted to remark on the hull design, the hull shape. Here in New England, there's a lot of people who optimize for a very steep and deep V so that it can carve through the big waves that we can have here on Buzzards Bay. This hull is a compromise. It's a nice V down below waterline, but above waterline, it's a wider hull. So when we get to 3+ foot seas, we're slapping that hull down on the water pretty fiercely. So it's a compromise. The trade-off is that we get a really nice bed downstairs. It's a lovely master cabin, and so I don't have any real issues with the trade-off. It's just something to know when you're buying the boat, that this is not one that's going to carve through the highest seas just with like butter. I think the second thing is, if this boat has a lot of sail area, and if this is your first boat, you're going to learn about docking the boat that has a lot of sail area. And here in Cuttyhunk today, I probably would want to do that again if I had my choice. I probably was, getting pushed by the wind more than I expected to be, and
it happens.
It wasn't the awesomest thing in the world, but there we go. And let's see, what was the final thing?
What's next?
Well, what's next?
What
is next?
What's next? So
we're at the end of the season here.
We are. The short season here.
I know.
So because it's such a short season, we're thinking about perhaps having the boat shipped to Florida for the winter months. And we haven't decided completely. We're leaning towards probably doing it.
There's a place called the 7-Star Cruise Lines, or 7-Star Shipping, that hauls boats. They fill a boat transport ship full of boats, and they take boats from here in the Northeast down to Florida for the winter, and they can bring them back. We're thinking about maybe sending it down and then being down there for some portion of the winter, and then maybe even cruising the intracoastal back up in May, because May in New England can sometimes be anticlimactic. It can be cold and yucky. So if we spent May bringing the boat back up, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't think we're going to stay in the boat the entire winter. Doesn't feel to us yet like a boat we can stand that long. There certainly are some people doing the great loop in this boat, and God bless them. I just don't know if I'm ready to do that, but nevertheless, setting it down and spending some number of weeks on it during the winter, the cold months here in New England, does sound like an interesting idea. So we're considering that, looking into all the details, all the costs. Not cheap, but boating isn't cheap to begin with. So, and this boat, wasn't a cheap boat to start with either. So anyway, that's where we are on our final day of our first long cruise, and I think we'll let it go with that. Thanks for watching the channel. Please like and subscribe down below, because I hope more people get to see this if they're considering this lovely boat. By the way, a reminder again about the Facebook group. Lots of great info there. Not so many videos like this, but lots of great info there. And so I can connect you there too if you ask on the YouTube comments here. Thanks much for watching.
Bye.